It makes me sick that all you people can crowd around Jerry Lawler and believe in a guy like this. Because this guy is no king. This guy is a nobody. He's always been a nobody. And when I get to Memphis, all you Southern hick people are going to find out that the Hitman means business.
Goes up to Bret Hart. What a match. The big match. Lawler and Hart. Morale is on the floor, but he's holding on to Prentice. PG-13 is out interfering. They're holding Lawler. Here comes Taylor and Rocket.
And all you people in Memphis, you can go ahead and crowd around Jerry Lawler and pretend that he's the king, but he's not. You people in Memphis, you know what we have here? What we have here is a failure to communicate. Because the communication problem is between you and me. I'm the best one in the world. I'm the king, and I've proved it time in and time out.
The king, Jerry Lawler, coming off the middle roll. Drops a right fist on Owen. Here comes Bret. It is down. Hey, Prentice, he just handed Bret Hart something. And boy, he clobbers Lawler with it. Covers him 2 and 3.
When I get to Memphis, you can watch the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And you can watch Jerry Lawler go down, because he is not anything compared to the best one there was, the best one there is, the Hitman.
Well, I gotta tell you one thing. It is obvious that even though it is a tag match coming up Valentine's Massacre night down at the Mid South Coliseum, Bret Hart and The Undertaker against the King and Double J. Well, I can tell you, Hart has got his eyes set on one person, and that's the King. And Jerry, before I give you your say, I'd like for you to listen to another minute of Bret Hart and what he's got to say about the King.
So the Hitman's gonna be in Memphis on St. Valentine's Day. What a perfect date for a massacre. You know, I got Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler. How could I describe my hatred and my ill feelings towards a scum like Jerry Lawler? I couldn't begin to describe what filth has come out of that man's mouth. But then there's Jerry Lawler's good friend, Jeff Jarrett. Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Southern boys, good and true. Well, you're wrong, and I think most Southerners know that. Jeff Jarrett's the scum of the earth, and so is Jerry Lawler. So I've got myself a partner with a little integrity. He may be a little dark, he may be a little mysterious, but he's got his integrity. Something that neither one of those two guys, Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler, well, they don't have any integrity at all. But I've got the Undertaker, and I'm coming to Memphis. And I'm coming down to Memphis for one reason. To do another version of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett, you're going to be real sorry that you ever crossed the excellence of execution.
Well, I tell you one thing for a fact, it leaves no doubt he doesn't care for you at all.
Well, let me just say this. The feeling is mutual. You know what? A few years back, they asked me to come to the World Wrestling Federation. Now, I spent my entire career here in Memphis, Tennessee. They knew that. But they begged me to come to the World Wrestling Federation. And so I, out of the goodness of my heart, granted them a few of my very busy scheduled dates. I said, I'll come up there, but my heart belongs to Memphis. That's where I'm going to stay, but I'll come up there occasionally. Now, the first thing that happens to me when I go into the World Wrestling Federation, everybody knows who the king of wrestling is. I've been the king in wrestling since 1974, right? Okay. So I show up in the World Wrestling Federation, and the first thing they do is they have a King of the Ring tournament. They're going to crown another king, and it happens to be Bret Hart. Well, I told them beforehand, I said, let me just tell you this right now. I've come up here at your request. I'm the king, and now you want to try to say somebody else is the king? Well, what I'm going to tell you is whoever wins that tournament, whoever you crown the phony king, I'm going to come out and I'm going to show him who the real king is. And now, it could have been Bret Hart, it could have been Owen Hart, it could have been The Undertaker, but it happened to be Bret Hart. And I am a man of my word. He talks about integrity. Bret Hart, you're looking at a man who, when he says he's going to do something, will do it. And I came out there and I showed him who the real king was. And from that day on, Bret Hart and the king have not gotten along.
That's right.
Now, that's right, Bret Hart. When I don't like somebody, I don't care what I say about them, and I don't care what I do to them. Now, just because you can't stand the truth, just because when I say things about, hey, I can't help it that Bret Hart's mother is so old that she was a waitress at the Last Supper. You know, hey, I can't help it that Bret Hart's father, when God said, let there be light, threw through the switch. That's not my fault, Bret Hart. You know, and you want to talk about the South? You want to knock the South? You want to say we're all a bunch of hicks? Well, let me tell you something, pal. You're from Canada. And I'll tell you this right now. If I owned Canada and if I owned hell, I'd rent out Canada and live in hell. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I don't care for you. I don't care for Canada. And you're going to come down now, Bret Hart. You've run your mouth, and you're going to come down to the king's backyard. You're going to come to the Mid South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. And you know, Lance, there's certain places that just have that little bit of magic to them. You don't want to face the Dallas Cowboys in Texas Stadium. You don't want to face the Memphis Tigers in the Tomb of Doom. And let me tell you something. You don't want to face the king in the Mid South Coliseum, Bret Hart. So you bring your Undertaker, because I got Double J Jeff Jarrett. And this is going to be a match like Memphis has never seen before. Because you're right, Bret Hart. I hate your stinking guts, and between me and you, pal, it's personal. So Double J has promised me that he'll take care of the Undertaker. And Bret Hart, this Wednesday night, there's going to be a Valentine's Day massacre. And you're looking at the man that's going to be doing the massacring. So come on down to my backyard, Memphis, Tennessee, Mid South Coliseum, because Wednesday night, now I know, I can hear him right now. Sure, there are a few misguided people, Bret Hart, that think you're a big deal. They think you really are the best there is, the best there was. But Wednesday night at the Coliseum, I don't care about that. Because there'll be just as many people who thinks the king is number one in Memphis. And I'm going to prove it to them, and I'm personally going to prove it to you, Hitman.
What an exciting night. 4 guys right at the top of the thing. I mean, the pinnacle of it. Jerry Lawler going against the Hitman Bret Hart and The Undertaker Wednesday night. We got more action. And we're going to be looking at the King teaming up with Too Sexy against Rich and Gilbert a little later.